Hello, everyone. We're going to wait a few minutes to make sure I'm in the right spot. There's always a few second delay. Let's see here. All right. Looks like I am in the right spot. Let's see here. Okay. All right, so it's more than a few seconds delay. It's more like 15 seconds, but that's okay. Welcome, welcome. My name is Amanda Waldhart, and you're here with Amanda's Inspiration Station. So thank you so much. Once you hop on, I would love for you to say hi and where you're from. If I already know you and I know where you're from, you don't have to say that. You could just say hi. So I'm really excited to share with you guys today a really cool card. It is called a bookbinding explosion card, and I got the idea from my friend who is also a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, Marissa Alvarez. So I'm super excited to share this with you, my little version of it. And before we get started, if you are not... if you like this video, I would love for you to like it. If you are not a part of my page and you don't like or follow my page, I would love for you to do that. And whether you're watching live or repeat, or replay, not repeat, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I will also be posting this to YouTube, so you might be watching this on YouTube. Thank you again. If you are not a YouTube subscriber of mine, I would love for you to hop over there and click that subscribe button. It's completely free. All right, so let me get started here and make sure that I'm not missing any comments. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn you down here and see if we can get you down there. I love this feature right now on Switcher Studio where you can still see my face. I love that. So I just think that's fancy. And I'm not very techie, so I'm learning to be techie. I have a very techie husband who normally helps me, but this thing I learned all on my own, so he's very impressed. Okay, so this is the card we're going to make, but before we get started, I got 2 cards this week in the mail that I want to quickly share with you because I love them. They're super cute. So this card here I got from my fellow teammate, Susie. It's just a sweet little card that says hello. So I got that card. And then this is another card that I got from my friend Joni. This is another sweet card. I love all the layers, and I love how this piece right here is actually from the designer series paper. So she literally just cut that out, fussy cut that out, and then she made the card, and I love it. It's super cute. So thank you both for those cards. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this bookbinding explosion card. So here is the front of the card, and then on the inside, so it's bookbinding. Let me start by this. It's bookbinding because it has a binder, but then when you open it up, ta-da, it just explodes. It's awesome. This is truly a fun fold, and it's not hard to do. It actually is pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I do have a disclosure though. Disclosure. When I designed this card, the pattern of our 2022 to 2024 in colors, this is last year's pattern. So this is the pattern that I am using in the designer series paper. Not that it matters because you guys can use whatever. I just want you to know that this pattern, if you decide that you like the 6x6 paper, the designer series paper, that the pattern has changed. And the other thing that is a little bit different with this is that I'm using the Queen Bee stamp set. Now, you will not find this stamp set right now currently in our annual catalog. This stamp set is actually under our online exclusives. So it is under the online exclusives. It was in our mini catalog, our last mini, and it also had dies that went with it. Now, I currently do not have the dies. So I did we're going to do a little bit of some crafty, creative, whatever you want to call it, because when I originally designed this card, I used the dies for the flowers and this little bee. I didn't have the die. I don't have the dies now. So we're going to get a little crafty with this, and I'm going to share with you what we're going to do. And I did, however, go ahead though, and before when I designed it, I don't know why I never die cutted these two out. I think I thought, oh, when I do the video, I'll die cut it out. But then I didn't realize that was on the inside. So I do have two of the little pieces from the front, and I do have the vellum wings. So I do have those two cut, so we'll go ahead and do that. But as for the bee, we're going to stamp, and I'm just going to fussy cut it, okay? Before I do any stamping, though, let's go ahead and start to put this fancy card together, because I want to share with you a few things. So before we get started, I'm going to bring out my cut and score tool. I love this tool. It's such a great tool. Now, the piece of cardstock that I have is Starry Skies, and I cut it at 4 1/4 by 11. And what you're going to do is you're going to score it at 4 1/4, and then you're going to score it at 5 1/2. Okay, so you're going to score it that. Then you're going to fold it in half on the 5 1/2 mark. And then this is where the score line is, where we're going to glue together so it creates the bind. However, before that, I still need this score tool, so we're going to use this. So you're going to take a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. Now, this can be a designer series paper that actually already comes 6x6, or you can take a 12x12 that, if there's a pattern that you like, and cut it down. And we're going to do a couple different score lines. So I want the inside of this to be the stripes, but it doesn't matter whether I have the inside the stripes or the outside of the flowers. That does not matter. We're going to actually place it up in the corner here, and we're going to lightly score this at 3. And I'm going to say lightly, and the reason why is because with designer series paper, it is thinner. And if you push too hard, once you fold it together, it could break the paper. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of that. So I actually pushed too hard on this one. And at first I didn't rip the paper, but you could rip it. I did not rip it at first. But do you see how there's all this like white edging here? It's because I pressed too hard. I didn't actually rip it until I went to fold it, but so we don't want to press too hard. So now we scored it at 3. We're going to turn it, and we're going to score again at 3 and not jump the tracks like I just did. So don't press too light. I just jumped the track just a tiny bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip that over. Actually, you can't even see it in there. So all right, so I have it at 3 and I have it at 3. Now what we want to do is we want to score it one more time, and we're going to score it from corner to corner. So I'm actually going to set this on the 6 here, so it's in the center. That's all I'm doing right now. So I'm setting it at the 6, and I'm making sure that my corner is to my corner here. So I'm going to set that there, and I'm going to lightly score all the way down. Ugh, and I jumped the tracks to my corner. Now you could fold it, and I'm going to fold it as well because I want to gently fold it, but I do like that I have score lines in there because it helps with the folding. So I'm going to fold it here, and I'm going to hold it here. And I'm just going to take my finger. You can definitely use your bone folder, but I just want to do it lightly and score on that line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing for the other 2 lines that I just created. So I'm going to lightly use my finger or my bone folder, and I'm going to score that. And then I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to do that. All right, so now we're going to set this piece aside for just a moment, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to kind of put our card together first, and then we'll do our stamping and do the rest of the pieces. All right, so here I have my card. I'm going to set this here too. We have 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now I am using Starry Sky, so this inner piece is Starry Sky. The card base is Starry Sky. I'm using one of my pieces of designer series paper as Starry Sky. So this measures at 1 by 4. And then this piece here is actually, this one right here is Orchard Oasis. And this piece here measures 4 by 4. So I want to give it some different patterns and some different textures per se. So I'm going to get out my, I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus for this part. I am going to end up using my green glue. And if you don't like green glue for what we're going to do on the inside, you can definitely use your Stampin' Seal Plus. That would definitely be an option. Same with tear and tape. Tear and tape would definitely be an option. Oops, you know what? I'm going to peel this off. I got talking and I forgot to do something. But just know if you use your green glue when we put this in, you have room to do some wiggle room. Okay, so before I actually adhere this down, I want to place some white baker's twine. And I actually just want to place 2 like little strips of it. So I'm just going to flip this over and do this like this. And I'm not going to wrap it around twice because then I'm kind of wasting baker's twine, and I don't like to waste baker's twine or ribbon. I don't like to do any of that. All right, so I'm just kind of flipping it like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some adhesive over the edges of where I had my baker's twine just to give it a little bit more adhesive there. And now I'm going to place this down like this. Hold on, I lost my, oop, there we go. Oop, give me a second, I'm losing, there we go. So we're going to do that. Now what I'm going to do is, for instance, in here, if you want to use your Stampin' Seal Plus, you can go ahead and in here use that. It does stick. Give it more of an heavier adhesive. And then I'm just going to fold that down. So now I have the binding of the book. So I have the binding of the book. Okay. So now let's go ahead and put the inside in. So I want the stripes on the inside. That's how I did it on this. Now, so when you open up, there's the stripes. However, keep in mind too, like when you're opening up this card on the back side, you do see the back pattern. So when picking out your designer series paper, you want to make sure that you're picking out a designer series paper that the opposite side will still match your card. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we need to fold this up. Okay. So with this square here, we have a line in this middle of this square, and we have a score line in the middle of this square. These 2 ones we do not. So what we want to do is we actually want to fold these 2 squares that have that line. We want to kind of fold them up and in. Once you fold them up and in like this, you can then just kind of take your finger and pinch it down like that. And then you can fold it like that. So I'm going to do this again without hopefully breaking it. So here's our piece. I'm going to take these 2 pieces. See how this square has a score line in the middle and this square has a score line in the middle. I'm going to stick basically my middle finger underneath these. I've got my thumb here and my index finger, and I'm just kind of pulling this part up, and we're just going to pull it up like this. Okay. Now we're going to put this on the inside of our card, and here's how we're going to do it. We want this to be at diamond shape. When we glue this in, we want this to be at a diamond shape. So we want the opening to be on this side and this side, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my green glue. I'm going to do green glue on one side, and then I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus on the other, just so you guys can see how it, you know, it doesn't really matter. Now, if you do use your green glue, though, you do have to wait a minute for it to set. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut that, okay? I'm going to give it a nice rub, but I'm going to apply pressure. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the card over because we still need to put adhesive on this side. So then I'm going to just go ahead and put adhesive on this side. Just do another one. And then I'm just going to close the back. There. I don't need that to set because it sticks right away. And then when you open it up, ta-da, you have your inside just like that. Okay? All right. So now let's go ahead and start with our stamping and putting our card together. I do have this piece here that we're going to place on the front of the card. And this piece also, disclosure, is actually from our seasonal label dies. Now these dies have been retired, but I didn't want to change the card because I had already created and cut these pieces out a while ago and then found this. I was like, I am going to do a video and share this card because it's so adorable. But you can do any different die that you have, whatever you want to use. And then what I did is I ran it through the embossing machine, and I ran it through the embossing folder, the dots of the basic embossing folders, and that comes in a 3-pack, and that is also an online exclusive. And if you guys want to see the online exclusives, if you're not sure where they are, head over to amandasinspirationstation.com, click on shop now. It'll take you right to my Stampin' Up! Web store. On the left hand side, hit menu. Once you hit menu and you click on shop now, or shop, I think products, I think it says, all of the different categories are on the left side, and you just scroll down a little bit and there's where it says online exclusives. All right, so let's do our stamping. We have quite a few things to stamp. So on the front of the card, we're going to stamp on this circle. We're going to use crushed curry, and it's kind of like little words, like, I don't know, like typing words. And I'm just going to kind of do that right in the right-hand side up there. And I'm going to set that aside. And then I have 3 pieces of white here. These 2 pieces are exactly the same. They measure at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. This is what's going to go on the inside of our cards, on the inside of the card. So I'm going to set that aside. This piece here is just a regular scrap. I don't even know what it measures, but that's where we're going to stamp the bee. So I'm going to get out my Starry Sky, and I'm going to stamp the bee. And then I'm going to keep my Starry Sky out because I'm going to open this up. So now we're going to bring back these 2 pieces. Now I want to stamp them at a diamond because that's the shape that it's going to be in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the happy birthday, and I'm going to stamp that in Starry Sky. So there's happy. And then birthday. There we go. Now, because I don't have the dies for these, on the stamp sets right here, there is a little bee here, and I'm going to do the little bee, but I'm going to stamp him in Memento because there's a spot where I can color him in a little bit. So I'm going to just stamp him over here. I'm going to let him dry for a minute because there's a little flower on his wings, and I'm going to color that flower in with crushed curry marker. All right, so over to the side here, I'm going to get, I'm actually done with the Starry Sky, so I'm going to put that away. I'm going to bring out the Orchard Oasis, and I'm going to stamp these flowers over to the side here. There we go. Now I'm done with that. And then I'm going to get out these little words again. And I'm going to kind of overlap it and stamp right like that. All right, so there's that part. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to color in this little flower. There we go. It's not the same. I do like that better, but it is what it is. Okay, so now I'm going to get out my paper snips because I am going to quickly, I'm going to die, or I'm going to fussy cut this out. If you have the dies still, that's awesome. Use the dies, unless you would prefer to fussy cut, which I'm going to say that most people who have dies do not want to fussy cut it out, especially these little legs. But I don't find fussy cutting that hard. I don't mind it at all. I think the trick is really about turning your paper. And the other trick is, to me, is always leaving a little white edge around it. I think often a lot of people think they need to get right up to the spot where it's actually stamped. And if you notice when something is die cutted, that is not a word. When something is cut with the dies, there, we'll do proper English today. You do notice there is a white like lining around it. All right. And you can snip that extra part off. That's okay. All right. And voila. Our pretty little queen bee is done. Okay, so let's now go ahead and let's put our pieces on. We're going to place this piece flat to the front of the card. I really want to make sure that I have some good adhesive on it because it is embossed and it has texture. I don't want it to pop up. All right, and I'm going to place this stitched circle flat on top of it as well, which that's from the Stylish Shapes dies. So we're just going to place that flat over there. Now I am going to use my dimensionals to pop up the bee. So I've got some dimensionals here that I'm using the edges, which is actually perfect for the bee. And then I'm going to angle the bee like that. Now I'm going to use a little dot of my multi-adhesive glue, and I'm going to place that right on the back here because I did cut these out with the original dies. And this is vellum. And if you use a mini glue dot under your vellum, you will see it. If you use your tape roller, your Stampin' Seal, you will see the glue. But if you use the green glue, it dries clear. So once it dries, you won't see that. So I'm going to use that. I'm just going to use the back of my poker tool here just to kind of press it in a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to tuck these little guys underneath. So I'm going to get out my adhesive dots here. So I'm just going to kind of put one underneath there. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it under there like that. I'm going to grab another one. And we're just going to tuck that one under there too. Just like that. Okay, so there's the front of our card. We still need to do our bow. We'll do that last. So we're going to open up our card. So remember, this is the one that I have. So here's the inside of our card here. So now I'm going to place Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to place the happy birthday, and I'm going to lay this flat, and I'm going to place it angled, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing with this, and then I'm going to show you what I did with the flower. Since I do not have the flower dies that come with the dies from here, I will show you what I used. You can use anything. You could leave it plain if you want to, but I pulled out this bundle, which I think this bundle is super cute, and I have yet to be able to play with it. So I'm definitely going to do that this weekend. The Darling Details, and I think this is an adorable stamp set. So I used the die off this. They have a die here, and this is the die. So this is the piece. I went ahead and I did the die cutting on it. And what I'm going to do, this is where I'm getting crafty here, I'm actually going to cut just around the flower here. And I'm going to, without cutting it, there's one flower. I figured, you know what? It has 2 flowers in it. And I'm going to do this. Now, we have flower punches. You can use whatever you want at home if you do not have the dies to this stamp set. And again, I'm going to use the mini glue dots for the center here. And I'm going to kind of place one right there. And same with this guy. And then I'm going to place, I don't know, that's kind of too big up there, I think. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it at 1. I'm going to leave it at 1. I think that one's too big. I like this a lot better with the littler flowers. But that's okay. All right, so I'm going to pull out these iridescent rhinestones because I love these. You will find that I use them a lot. And I'm going to take a medium one and I'm going to stick it in the center there. Now, I did not do that on this one, but I'm going to take some and I'm going to put some on the outside because I feel like these should have some. Like, we need bling, right? Bling, bling, bling. Let's bling it up. All right, so I'm going to put some, you know what? I'm going to put some bling on this over here too. I like bling. So we're just going to add some bling to this one too. Okay, there's my bling. Now we still have a bow. So I have my bow maker here. And I did a double bow on here. I like doing double bows. Especially with like baker's twine or like linen thread. I like to do the double bows. So I'm just going to kind of double it up. I do have a video on this bow maker on my YouTube channel. You might have to scroll back a while because it was a while ago. But I'm going to wrap it around the back here and bring 2 pieces in front. And I'm going to cross. The piece that's on the top, I'm now going to tuck under and through the 2 pegs so that it's now in the back here. So I have a piece in the back. I have a piece in the front. The piece in the back is now going to come over between the 2 pegs again. And now I have both pieces in the front here. And I'm just going to cross it and tie it in a knot. And I want to pull tight because I don't want my bow to kind of come undone. And then I'm going to snip. And then I'm just going to pull it off the pegs. And now I have a little double bow here, which I'm going to use mini glue dots one more time. I'm going to use them. And then I'm going to place that right in the center here. There you have it. There is your bookbinding explosion card. Very cute card. I love this card. So cute. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love if you decide to make a card on your own. Here, let me kind of put you back up here. So if you make one of these cards, I would love for you to post it in the comments of this video because then we can share and see everybody else's cards. So I would love for you to do that. All right, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. And you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you next week for Weekly Wednesday. Thanks for watching. Bye.